right now. Hey, good morning, everyone. This is SchreckTeck, episode number 45, I think.
Woo, and next 45.
To me, yep.
And 45, I know. It's like we are middle-aged.
I know, and right over here next to me is Gina Schreck. Hey, Gina, how's it going?
I'm doing great. And, you know, when you have a technology show, you will have technology glitches. And like I was saying to somebody this week, we are explorers, and we have to have that sense of exploration and know that there will be challenges and rough waters, but that's kind of the excitement of it. So today we have a special guest, and Beverly Davis is with us, but we have her via phone. So if you are watching this and there is a delay in what you are seeing and what you're hearing, it's because the magic of technology is at least bringing her voice, but she's not a ventriloquist.
Right. We're having a little bit of a Skype issue, but hey, Beverly, how are you?
So Beverly, welcome. It's great to have you on here, and it's great to meet you for the first time, kind of at least via video.
Yeah.
We connected on Twitter, as the whole world has. The whole world has, and I love the content that you put out on Twitter. And I was, kind of doing my whole thing of social media stalking when I meet people, and kind of start reading about what you do, and thought, oh my gosh, here's this financially savvy woman. And that's one of my number one goals this year, was business financial savviness. And so your content really piqued my interest. And of course, I'm all about technology, so I'm always saying, how do small businesses use technology to manage our finances mobily or in our office? And so I asked Beverly if she would mind being a guest. So I'm excited to have you join us.
And another one of the real reasons she wanted you on is because you like shoes.
Yes. That is another one. Because Beverly, what is the website you have that has to do with shoes?
Well, it's actually a blog that I started, and I just started it this year. It's called Entrepreneur in Heels.
Entrepreneur in Heels. I love it.
Yeah. Kind of supposed to be a little description of me, myself. I always tell people I come from a corporate banking background, which is very male-dominated. But I was always, in their faces, doing what I had to do, was say, oh, you're just like a guy. But I would always say, but except I wear heels.
I'm just like a guy, but I wear heels.
But it's funny because I had a conversation with a friend yesterday who said, well, it's 2012 now. Some guys wear heels too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Some guys do wear heels too. So.
Well, it's funny she brings up that, you came from a banking background. I also worked in banking as my first job out of school. And interesting thing is that I've been married about 28 years, and I gave up all finances about 17 years ago to the wife.
Oh, that's funny.
And that tells you something. It may be male-dominated, but the women do a better job at it.
Women do a better job, yeah.
Yeah, well, not in my house.
Not in your house?
No, not in my house. Yeah, I need to take more of an interest in it, is what it is. I've never balanced I never balance a checkbook. I have a bookkeeper that does my business, kind of does all the bookkeeping there every month. But at home, I just, it's one of those things, as long as I have checks, you just keep writing them.
Gina, it's the heels. Get off the heels, you'll be better able to balance.
I tell people, not even just with their personal finances, but even business owners, they always, like you just said, I have someone who does my bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Great. If you don't have the time or whatever, but you still should, kind of have an idea of what's going on, have a handle on it, and kind of know what that person is doing.
Right. And this year, I made the commitment. I said I'm switching, because we were using QuickBooks, and we had it where it was on the computer system, not online. And this year I said I want it to be online so that I can access it and I could reply to a client that had a question. I used to say you'd have to call Sandy and ask her. And I thought, it's crazy. I don't even know what's going on in my own business finances, except every month when I kind of just look at the overview, the P&L statements. And I thought, I'm going to put QuickBooks Online, and I'm going to commit to the first 3 months of the year, I'm going to do all the invoicing. And of course, I have Sandy, her and I sit together and do it. But I told her, I want to know what's going on in my business financially. And it is empowering. It makes you feel good knowing, wow, okay, financially, I'm doing well. And I feel like it's kind of like going in for your checkup at the doctor's. It's like taking control of your health.
It's kind of,
Oh, now I lost her sound.
On the phone? On the phone?
I don't hear her. Do you hear her? Beverly, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay, good.
I was at going with Montel.
Oh, you know what, Beverly? The phone's cutting out.
I know. It figures. Ah!
But by the way, we do need to have Beverly back on another time when we've got good connections and stuff.
Her lips are see, people are seeing the video and your lips are moving, but yeah, they're not hearing every word. Just on that last part, somehow I think the cell phone started cutting out, which could just be, that whole thing of cell service. It comes and goes, but try again. Oh, there you are.
Okay, am I better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're back.
Okay, good.
So now you came out of the banking. And typically, now maybe this is an overgeneralization, but typically people in the finance world are not big risk takers and entrepreneurs. So what gave you the courage? What was your motivation to jump out and start your own business?
Well, actually, two things. One, I've always wanted to do it. I knew from the very first job I had, when I walked into the office, they sat me down at the cubicle, I knew then that I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to do what I was doing for the bank, for myself. At that time, I was at Bank of America in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was in wealth management. And we were handling trust accounts. And I was like, I could do this for myself. And I just knew then, I just always knew I wanted to own my own business. That was one thing. They just always wanted to be an entrepreneur. But another one was, I have a 6-year-old son who was diagnosed when he was 3 with autism spectrum.
Wow.
And my schedule, of course, in the banking industry was just, I was also commuting, an hour. So it had gotten to the point where it was a little out of control as far as I was getting home at 8 o'clock, rushing to get him something to eat, get him to bed, get ready for the next day. It just become a vicious cycle. And still in the back of my mind, I was like, I want to try to take the time to get my own thing going. And I'm not getting younger, so.
Right. Wow.
I just made the plunge. And then when all the crash and all that happened with the banks, and I was at Citi. My last position was with Citi, and a lot was going on there, and it was like, I think with the surges that's going on now, period, it was just time.
It was time to start your own business.
Yeah, it was just time to leave it all and go on. And it was a scary thing, but, it's like when you get to the end of the road, it's like you turn around and you go back or you just jump and keep going. So
right. Well, it's exciting, and you have this really wonderful connection with entrepreneurs that you're able to say, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur. I've got this experience in finances. So you're helping, now you work with entrepreneurs, helping them become financially savvy. And yet here you are you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you've got all the tech stuff going for you on the social media. And I loved, you sent me this list of apps for finances. I was excited because I really had not heard of most of them. And I'm always looking for tools to help me do my job, and do it easier. So what are some of the things that you tell entrepreneurs? I guess if you were just giving us kind of overall tips, are there things that we should be doing to manage our businesses?
As far as finances or just period?
Finances, yeah.
Finances. Well, one, like I was saying earlier, is just kind of being a little involved in where you're financially at in your business. Kind of setting a plan of where you want to go financially is important. And having the tools to be able to do the forecasting. I think the forecasting is one of the most important things that a lot of business owners, small business owners, don't do. They kind of look at the now, and I guess coming from an accounting background, I'm always looking at what you have now versus where you want to go.
So whether it's in our business or in our personal life, the forecasting of kind of what are our goals for our financial year, and then being able to work with the right tools to get there.
Get there, exactly.
So are there tools that you recommend to help people do the forecasting?
Well, there's several. Well, I use, I'm a big Excel person, spreadsheets. There are spreadsheets out there that you can download through Microsoft that have built-in, all you have to do is plug in the numbers, built-in formulas that will compute out. You put in where you're financially at now, like it asks you what's in the bank account, what's here, what's your monthly expenses and all, and it'll go through and push out, where you're expected to be. You can even do a calendar of it, like weekly, monthly, going out, forecasting what you think your revenue would be, and it kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to look like. You can use that. Then there's some of the apps that I have that are tools that you can use for forecasting. One of the apps that I wanted to talk about was balance forecasting.
What is it called?
Balance forecasting.
Fallon, Fallen?
No, balanced.
Oh, balanced forecasting. See, maybe everyone else can hear her. Maybe I can't hear her. Okay, so it's my ears. Balanced forecasting, and that's an app?
That's an app. And it actually does the work that I was just talking about. You just it's a budget. Put in your numbers, and it will actually create a budget for you. Kick it back at, and it'll make graphs and everything that are kind of easy for you to use, and it helps you kind of make a strategy of a plan for your business.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. And, that's a good one because it's quick, and that's the biggest problem with a lot of business owners as far as finance. They're like, I just don't have the time because you're a little bit more involved in other things. You're trying to see the pace of your business and bring in clients or whatever. So the finance, they kind of push off on someone else, which is fine. But this is something that I like because it's quick. You just put your numbers in, and it's right there. You can have it on your phone, iPad, and anything you want to graph or whatever. Let's say it's really good for if you are new, your business is new, and you say you want to make purchases or something like that, and you say you have so many amounts in your bank account. Can I make this purchase? And you put the numbers in there, and then they come out and say, not yes or no, but it'll give you a forecast of what will happen to your funds if you do this.
Oh, that's interesting. So the Magic 8 Ball isn't the way I should be doing it, huh? Should I make this purchase? Forecast says no. Yeah, so that's actually pretty cool. Looking at and being able to, again, track where you are financially, not just looking at your bank statement right now, but forecasting out, is this a decision I should make, or, forecasting out, should I wait till third quarter? Let's see. I'm seeing if there's questions in the chat room. We've got people in here, although they're wanting to know if I'm using my Get Smart shoe phone. Yeah, I think so. That's why I can't hear. I have the heel part. The heel part is in my ear. Maybe that's what it is.
No, you're in the cone of silence.
I'm in the cone of silence. Everyone can hear you except me. So balance forecasting, that sounds like a great one. And do you know if that's iPhone only?
That is an Apple app.
Okay, so iPad, iPhones, okay.
And I think it's some of these ones that I'm talking about also are on iPod Touch.
So any iOS, probably on those. Okay, very cool. As a matter of fact, I will look it up while while you're talking. So, okay, so we're forecasting. We set up our financial forecasting using something like balance forecasting. Although I want to find out, you said in the in Microsoft there are some templates that are pre-made. How would somebody find one of those templates that already have the formulas in there?
Well, one of the biggest ways you can just Google. You can just put in finance forecasting templates or spreadsheets.
So you type in finance forecast spreadsheets. Okay. See, for someone who's not a financial person, I need to know the specifics.
Now, Beverly, what do you think of tools like QuickBooks or Quicken? Do they have any kind of, I know they have some forecasting or some budgeting. What do you think of those?
Yeah, QuickBooks I'm a big fan of. I use that. I use QuickBooks Pro and online. I'm a big fan of online. Some people are not, but they have, they're kind of limited as far as forecasting budgets. They do forecasting is in QuickBooks through their reporting. So you can use QuickBooks to get a forecast of kind of like where your business is and maybe just take the numbers of where you're going.
Right. Yeah, QuickBooks.
They have reports that, they kind of spit out, but they don't really do like an in-depth forecast.
Okay,
Right.
so QuickBooks is good for an overview, but if you want really in-depth forecasting, you should check into some of the other tools. And it's interesting because QuickBooks, when I look at it, I get excited because there's so many things it can do, but I would imagine for a small business person, you really need to take some time to learn and go through some of the tutorials if you're trying to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot.
So that you get the most out of it, because so many people
Right.
use it. And then when I go in, because I also go and I can, if you have someone who's going to be doing the accounting for you, I mean, I do accounting, but I also go and help set up and get out of there. But if you have someone who's going to do it, sometimes you go in and show people, they're like, wow, I didn't know it could do that. I didn't know it could do this. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with QuickBooks.
Well, one of the hardest things for companies, especially small companies, is cash management. That seems to be the hardest part of all for them. Do you have any recommendations for managing cash better for people?
Keep it in your wallet.
Keep it in the wallet.
Well, it's always keep your expenses, just like personal, lower than, what you're using every month. But one of the things that I really like to tell people as far as their cash, well, not even in, not using bank accounts or credit accounts. You're not referring credit or anything like that, right? Just purely
Right.
cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing of just kind of the obvious of just watch your spending and don't buy things. I mean, I get caught up, and this year that was another one of my goals. I get caught up in buying all the newest gadgets and computers and realizing, okay, in business, that's probably not, you don't need everything that you think you do to manage your business. And so really being smart about that. What other daily, it was interesting, the beginning of the year, I had a hard time finding financial goal tools to really help. And maybe that's the forecast, maybe that's that balanced forecasting I need to check out. But looking at things like that.
Well, there's another app called Ace Budget 2. That's one that we're going to talk about. That's a good app because it can take each category, department of your business and create a budget for it.
And so that's ACE Budget 2, ACE Budget number 2.
Yeah, and that it allows you to create budgets in different categories, and you can track it daily, weekly.
Oh, I like that.
And you can also do your transactions within this app, which is great. And it does reports, and it's all archived, which is good too.
Oh, that is cool. Okay, so the big question is, it's tax time. In the United States, for those of our guests or for those in the chat room, we have several people who are not from the United States. I don't even know what your tax laws are in other countries. If you're like us and we all panic at the end of the year of going, oh my gosh, I've got to get taxes together and you know, even I pay quarterly taxes, so doing my quarterly taxes, is there a tool, or is this something that should be done in QuickBooks? Is there a tool that really can help take some of the stress off of us at tax time?
Yeah, that's, well, if you keep your daily or monthly bookkeeping up, that's the bulk of it right there.
Yeah.
Long as you have everything recorded, you should be good. Most of the taxing. A good app for that is called the Tax Organizer.
Tax Organizer, okay.
And it's free. It's not free complete like the other apps. Most of them are 99 cents or up to $2. This one is free for 30 days. Then after that, it's $14.95 monthly. Again, a little pricey, but it's excellent because it takes a lot of the guesswork out. What you would normally have in a box every year, you can store it all, on your phone or your iPad with this app.
Oh, that's interesting. So you store your tax documents there?
You can store your tax documents, anything specific, like all your expenses. You can photograph receipts, photograph important finance documents, all that, and it keeps it stored. Anything that you would turn, like if you were audited, anything that you would turn in for an audit, you can store, on your phone or iPad with this app.
Which is interesting because I saw one of the apps that you suggested. One that I do use is Expensify, and Expensify I love for the fact that I literally, when I'm on the road and I'm traveling for a client, I take a picture with my phone of the receipt, goes into Expensify. Easiest way to then submit an expense report quickly,
right,
to keep track of all your receipts, and then even if it's not for a client, if it's just business expenses, being able to do that. And do you use tools like that for just everyday receipts as well?
Yes, I did. Actually, I did a tweet about it last night, just urging entrepreneurs to please, if you're not using Expensify, start now.
Expensify, yeah.
Yeah, if you're at the beginning of the year, start. I like Expensify. One of the things I like most about Expensify, you can categorize it and you can add comments. That's the big thing. People have their receipts and everything from the beginning of the year, but when the end of your tax time comes, you don't remember what you purchased.
Right.
Some people write it on the receipt, and I like Expensify. I like anything that just gets rid of paper, clutter, and all that.
Well, it's interesting because you hit on something that this is where I do stress at the end of the year is categorizing. When my tax guy is wanting to know all the details of, the expense breakdown. Again, we do most of that every month in our bookkeeping, but still there's little things that, whether it's gas, whether it's, things, but if we would put them in Expensify and categorize them. See, I have not been doing that.
You can do that. You can even, what I really like about it is you can add comments. So you can actually just comment on what it was for, and everything like that. So if there's a specific breakdown of it, sometimes people have 10 receipts that kind of go with one thing. So you can lump all those receipts and break it down to this one was for this one for that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a really good idea because I remember we just got back from a trade show and receipts are in pockets, they're in purses, they're in folios, they're everywhere except where you'll find them later.
Yeah, and Expensify is on I have it on my Android and my iPad, so it's across all the platforms. And it's free. Yeah. And they send some really good emails out. Their e-newsletters are pretty helpful. They have tips in there that I find useful. Okay, there's an app that you said, or a tool that kind of scares me. IRS to go. Like, do we really want?
Oh, okay.
No.
You really want to go with the IRS, huh?
Yeah, you really want to take them with you? Yeah. What is IRS to go?
IRS to go is actually an app from the IRS. It's free and it is, across the board, Android, whatever. But it's to check the status of your refund. But it also gives you tax up and withdrawals, which is good for small business owners because a lot of times they're still working on old laws. So, things change all the time, especially now, with what you can write off, what you can't write off the minute, and so on and so forth. Mid-cost updates, you can check the laws, current, what's going on.
That's interesting. So I can check to see if shoes are now an expense that can be written off.
Yeah, you can try.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way.
Another good one, now that we're talking about taxes, the one I put on there for the dictionary of tax terms.
Right.
It's like $1.99 for the app, but it's great for 600 definition of tax terms. And I know a lot of business owners don't really get into the tax. The accountant kind of does it, but it's just good to know if an issue comes up, something in your accountant talks to you about it, that you kind of have an idea of, you know.
You could say, hold on, let me open up my app here of Dictionary of Tax Terms.
Well,
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Say, okay, and then when you
Right.
get off the phone, you know, go to your app, check
Right.
it out, and you'll be like, oh, this is what he's talking about.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good app for a lot of business owners, just to kind of know the tax terms.
Yeah, I don't know why, and maybe it's just me. I feel like if there's an app for things, it helps me stay motivated to actually stay on top of it. So when it comes to business finances or personal finances, I feel like the need to really be in control and understand it, we need to either, I mean, some people just have a knack, they like digging into those things, and some people, it's kind of like working out for me. If there's an app to make it more fun, then I will dig in and learn how to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm a little different because I like the best of both worlds. I come from a reconciling background, so like you just saying, digging in and finding that missing penny. I love that. I could do that all day. But I also love the apps. I love being able to do something quick. I live in the cloud.
Yeah.
I work a lot of telecommute. I work from home and, go and do everything for everybody that way. And then watching one of your other older shows, and you were kind of praising Dropbox. I love Dropbox.
Yeah.
I do a lot of that kind of stuff, too. So I'm like in the middle there. I like old school, open up a spreadsheet, put the numbers in there, reconcile, pick and tie. I do that, but I love the app one, too.
Right.
It is. A lot of people kind of stay away from it because they feel like it won't be as accurate or whatever.
Or secure, right. I hear a lot of people worried about that. Is I don't want to use QuickBooks Online. It doesn't seem secure.
That was the big thing with it.
Yeah, and and you hear that with Dropbox as well, that people say, is Dropbox really secure, a secure way to send data? And, I look at it and say it is interesting because I love the fact that I can look on something like QuickBooks Online and see what, a client wants to know if, gosh, well, I don't remember seeing your invoice. I don't have to call my bookkeeper. I don't have to say, talk to Sandy. I can actually just rip it open and resend it or run a report to see what invoices have been sent. I think QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks in general is a great tool. If you're working with someone who's just starting their business, what are the must-have? Are there certain tools that you go, okay, you have to set things up, like of all the ones that we've talked about?
Well, actually, my biggest thing right now that I'm just absolutely loving is Indinero. It is free.
Indinero?
Indinero.
Oh, I see it right there. Okay.
It is free.
And it's free. Indinero.
You know what that means, Gina?
Well, in dollars, doesn't it?
In dollars or in money.
Yeah, it's Indinero.
Yeah, because I'm so fluent in Espanol.
Muy bien.
I'm working on it.
This is a good one, and it's a must-have. It's kind of not really new, but it's catching on right now. But it's lovely because it is a real-time dashboard, and it's excellent for small business owners that's on the go, kind of just want to stay on top. It's really good for a solopreneur, kind of doing it all themselves. It's a real-time dashboard that has all your accounts, everything, banking, checking, credit cards, whatever account, lines of credit. It's all in front of you on a real-time dashboard for you to manipulate. It spits out reports. It is just a budget for you. It has bank-level security, which is great.
Is it like Mint.com?
Kind of like Mint. The only difference is with Mint, it's kind of like you can just use it. You can't really make any transactions in Mint. Mint is kind of just a reader.
So Mint, you're just looking at your budget, looking at your financial dashboard. In Dinero, you can make transactions through there?
Yeah.
Wow. And is it free?
Yes, it's a free app.
Okay, I'm checking that out because I was really impressed with mint.com and actually had my daughter set up an account there. My college daughter who is having a little budgeting problem. And I said, you just need to go to mint.com every month to see how much money do I spend on gas.
Right. Yeah, and Mint is excellent for keeping track of things.
Yeah.
Like that. If you just want to make sure, that you're on track, you're doing good, Mint is excellent for that. I do like mint.com.
But, so in dinero is even better.
Yeah.
In your opinion.
And of course, and it's real time, which is pretty good.
That's cool. I'm checking that one out. Okay, so that's our first must-have app, in dinero. Anything else?
And another one that I really like is from Intuit. It's the Go Payment credit card terminal.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Oh my goodness.
Go Payment credit card terminal?
Yes, and it comes with the free, the little tool that you would, sliders come free. They do have 2 payment plans for it, but it's extremely low.
Okay, so is it like the Square?
Yes.
Okay.
But what it does, it takes the place of, a lot of vendors. If you have clients that you need on the go or something like that, you can take their payment wherever you are. It doesn't. You don't have to have them say, "Oh, we'll send you the information for the payment" or whatever. You can say, "Hey, you can pay me right here."
So is it okay? So I have the Square, and I plug in the little device into my phone or my iPad, and you slide the credit card. Is it like that?
No, this is.
It's like that.
It is like that.
It takes credit card payments. Yeah.
Right.
Just hook it onto your iPad or your phone.
Oh, see, I didn't know Square had had competition. So Intuit Go Payment credit card terminal. Yeah, I love that. I love the ability, and not only do you, because I know with the Square, and I'm assuming it's like the same with this, you can slide their credit card, or over the phone they can give you the information and you plug it in.
Yeah.
And it will send them the receipt and do everything automatic, which, again, I always tell people, check to see what the price, the interest per, not interest, but the charge per transaction is, because some of them are higher, some of them are lower. Some of those merchant accounts can kill you on, whether there's a monthly charge, and when there's a monthly charge and you don't do a whole lot of credit card payments, it doesn't make sense.
Now, one of the things I like about the Go Payment with Intuit is it's commitment free. It's kind of like especially if you do the pay as you go, the swipe is only 2.7%. And then
so it's 2.7% per transaction, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you can get out of it at any time.
Do you pay monthly to have that?
Well, that's pay as you go.
That's pay as you go. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
love it.
As you use it. And then they have the choice for if you have a high volume.
Okay. So it's probably a lower percentage, and then you pay monthly.
Monthly. Yeah, it's $12.95 a month if you have high volume.
$12.95 a month. Yeah, things like that. I think for a small business, most people think, well, I don't have a product to sell, but I've had customers want to pay their monthly invoice via credit card.
Yeah.
And so, and then most small businesses say, I don't know how would I take a credit card? These are great tools. Again, pay as you go. There's a 2.7%. Then you tell your client, well, I can take a credit card. It's a 2.7%, charge.
The thing about Go Payment is, because it's Intuit, it's compatible to QuickBooks. So you can take all those payments and just download those payments to your QuickBooks.
Now, there's the bingo for me, because I don't believe, and I just don't do enough credit card to dig into things, but I do need to check that, because the Square Up that I have, I don't believe it's connected with QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So this one, Intuit Go Payment Credit Card Terminal, is, and you can just have the money go cha-ching into your bank account. Love it.
And we're going to have to pretty much wrap it up now.
I
We're
know.
at 45 minutes.
I know, Beverly, this was awesome. I know we had a little technical problem with sound. Hopefully everyone could hear. I've got all the apps that you talked about in the show notes. So I will put those up on our Facebook page for SchreckTeck. This was awesome. Financially savvy, entrepreneur in heels. Thank you so much. And Beverly on Twitter is Beverly_Davis. Follow her on Twitter for financial savviness.
In honor of my today, my off day was can happen.
Oh, awesome. So where can we find the blog that you list all these apps? EntrepreneurinHeels.com.
So that's
Check that out.
entrepreneurinheels.com.
Love it. In honor of Beverly, here we are.
Well, Beverly, it's been a pleasure. And for all of you guys in the chat room, thank you for being there. And if you're watching this on the video later, thanks for subscribing. So again, Beverly, we'll see you next time. And Gina, say goodbye, Gina.
Goodbye, Gina.
Bye, everyone. We will see you guys.
Hopefully I'll be a little tanner. I'll be in Phoenix this weekend. So
Uh-oh. She'll be
shout
fine.
out to everyone. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.